there's a belief that the strong beliefs is that they are right. We're talking about message here. What causes them to believe this whole self-build thing? And a lot of times it's the stories like Brandon and Kaylin, right? Alex and Layla Harmozy, 10 million since last April. Crazy, right? Stuff like that. It's they're going to be watch me build a funnel in 10 minutes, right? As far as pages go, sure. Designing messaging, there's no way. Belief that there's a system which works. Yeah, absolutely. And there is one. They don't take part in what we're doing right now. All right, cool. Anyway, okay. So now we know the offer. Does that make sense? We know the offer, right? The mechanism that they're trying to use to get this thing to be successful. ClickFunnels. They're ClickFunnels users. They self-build in order to get wealth. Okay. We're going for those who hate the fact that they have to self-build. We're going those who've had a little bit of success. When to not, right? I want to give them the funnel map. I want to give them the pre-built email sequence, right? I want to give them all these things, and that alone could constitute an offer, but I need to match it to a few things. Let's let the market tell me what to build, okay? So let's go through this. The first thing I always do here is this piece right here. Is that far enough? Here we go. Okay, there are two categories of false beliefs that I'm going to go through here. Not one, two. Okay, and this is very important. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's say that I've got let's say that I've got this this thing's called pre-built funnels, and it's awesome. And by the way, I got a name for it already, but I don't want anyone to go there yet because I don't want. It's super sick. Okay. In fact, in one of them, I should put the thing on. That'd be kind of fun. Okay, so I sorry, I lost my train of thought here. Oh, false beliefs. Okay, check this out. Door-to-door sales again. Okay, door-to-door sales again. I'm selling pest control. When I walk up to people and I say, "Here's my pest control," what do you guys think people say? What would you say? Hey, look. Is it harmful to me, right? Harmful to pets, to family, to, right? Is it toxic, right? Right? Is it a contract? Totally got that one a lot. I can just spray at the store. How long does it work? Safe for kids. I like pests. I had a few people say that. The only pest around here is you pestering me. Pre-built funnels. What are some of your objections? And you'll see how I craft this out. What would you say? Here's pre-built funnels. Stephen learns it. Does it work for my business, my biz? Yeah, my industry. Pitch anything. Fantastic book. vehicle, an internal, and an external based objection, right? And the reason that they are that way is typically because that's the order that objections rise up in the middle of a sales process. Okay, the first, right? This is the vehicle, right? Pre-built funnels, pre-built stuff, things that are already done, right? Anyway, like right, pre-built funnels. And so when I go through and I say, hey, look, here's pre-built funnels, that's the vehicle itself. We're going to have a vehicle-based objection, meaning I'm going to question the thing itself. It's like, here's pest control. Well, does pest control work? The question typically doesn't first go into contract or is it safe for kids, although sometimes it would go into that. Most of the time it was about the pest control itself. To work. Are they proven? That's definitely that's a vehicle. I'm not techie. That's an internal one. Do I have to write copy afterwards? Or what do we do with copy? I would fit that typically in external. I'm not an expert in anything. That's definitely I. Share funnels. Do I need a license? Or do you have a license to sell these? It's an interesting objection. I never thought of that. I'd say with license to sell it. What are you saying? You're objecting on my ability to sell. I think that's a resource-based objection. What E? Platform. What platform are these on? That's vehicle itself. Traffic. That's always E. Objection? Yes. Yes. Instead of 2, which is really fascinating. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to find the number 1 vehicle-based objection. Okay, so from here on out, I follow this pattern. Side of it, but that's fascinating though. Okay, thank you. So we go through and so we go false belief, false belief. So here's this is like the false belief brainstorm, but now we're actually going to talk about the actual main false beliefs in a structured manner. And this is how we take, right, from market data, right? And honestly, if you don't know how to fill this stuff out, then I go to ask for this initial round. Okay, because I don't need them. I know what the false beliefs are. I experienced them. If I am going into a market that I don't know very well, right? There was a guy who approached me once about selling kombucha, the kombucha tea. And for a little bit, I thought I was going to go do it. We ended up not doing it, but I don't know anything about that. Therefore, I need to ask campaign. But since I walked through the path, if you're selling back into something that you once went through, typically you know what those false beliefs are, or those objections or pain points are because you watched them as well. So then I skip it. Okay, it's not gospel for you to go through an ask campaign as long as you can get these. This is the biggest piece of it. Okay, if you've really been through that, really matters a lot. Is this where you tell stories / publish to learn what worked? Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's get into that. We will for sure. That's how you build your webinar. That's actually how I build any product, regardless of funnel type, not just webinar. If I'm going to build a webinar, this fits really well into it. But if I'm going to go build a free plus shipping book funnel, I actually do the exact same thing as well. Haven't even gotten to the offer yet. Just the fact that it's I think I'm going to get bored, right? It's just why the attractive character piece is so huge. Most people will skip it. It's a huge portion of what we do. Right? Don't be boring, right? Anyway, am I going to be bored? I'm going to run. Am I physically in threat? Or am I physically in danger? I'm going to run, right? Should I eat it? Should I mate with it? Right? Is this going to hurt me? Right? There's a whole bunch of things subconsciously that's going to happen. Bam, 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 inside the brain in order to keep that person moving. Okay. And anyway, if I can get somebody to believe, right? Really, honestly, what you're doing here, vehicle, internal, external, you are addressing ability of working for me, right? New thing, objection. New thing, vehicle-based objection. If I can get them to believe that there's a possibility of being real, of being able to work, what's going to happen is I graduate to an internal-based objection. I'm not good enough at, right, or customize was up here. I'm not good enough at, I'm not an expert, right? This is not going to work for my business. My scenario is different, right? I'm not techie. I don't know how to write. It has to do with a lot of internal abilities and insecurities, right? This is a very sensitive part of the pitch, very key, right? But it's honestly where you're trying to throw a warm blanket of security around and be like, look, it's going to be okay. All right, you're going to be fine. I dare you to grow. All right. If I can get them to come on in and say, you know what, I do think, and typically, especially when it comes to like the funnel stuff, it's usually the techie one slash copy. Okay. And safe. It's another part of the brain, though, that really wants to be included inside of groups. They want community. They want. Let me read something to you. Okay. Let me read something here. This is it's very fascinating. I was listening to Russell forwarded. We were chatting. And he was like, "Dude, listen to this interview." And there's another part of the brain though that wants to be included in things badly. We want community. We want to be able to be with other people. We want to feel like we're in the right spot. Okay, and it actually has a lot to do with the chemicals in our brain and our body. Okay, I was listening to Ezra Firestone talking to Ryan Moran, and they recorded this interview, and it's really good. Else commented on the post that you put out there, you're seeking a dopamine hit. Okay, you actually have a little mini addiction going on to Facebook if that's what you're doing. Okay, it's the reason why I'm not easy to get a hold of. Okay, I'm trying to control tech. I don't want tech to control me, and that's part of the reason. Okay, dopamine is the distraction chemical of the brain. Okay, but people want to feel a little dopamine. They want a little distraction from what's going on in their life. They want a little the brain. It's the one we want the most. We actually want to connect with people the most. Out of all of them, we want to connect with people. Okay, we feel safe when we're connecting. It is the chemical that makes us want to procreate. Okay, so we got dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. Okay, when you can interlace those things into this is more. We have cognitive dissonance. Okay, to get all bleh, okay, bleh, it's a terrible term for it. Bleh, 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 okay, but what ends up happening is that when you go and you make a purchase, okay, how many times do you guys go walk into, I don't know, Walmart or Kohl's or any kind of department store and you're like, I just need a pair of socks, and then you walk out with 10 pairs of socks. Things are cheap, but but what you're looking for, here's what happens. Okay, this is the buyer's. Oh man, studying buying cycles is so fun. Okay, when you go and you make a purchase, let's say somebody goes and they go, let's just use me as an example. Let's say I walk into a Dillard's, and I walk into from you. It's the reason we create success passes. The reason we create all these things afterwards. You have to go and you have to create something afterwards to help them get through that. If you know, to say, hey, don't feel buyer's remorse. Okay, okay. As we exit the emotional stage of the purchase, there is a logical portion, and what we do is we turn around and we start doing things like saying, funnels because I'm a funnel hacker. That wouldn't mean anything without the stories to fuel it. It wouldn't mean it, right? If we know that if we know that funnels is an offer plus a message underneath, that's why this works. That's why the whole game works. That's what marketing is. And for you to be a successful funnel builder, you must have this stuff, okay? And so what I need to do inside of this phase here, what's super freakishly key, is for you to understand what is going on, right, inside their head when they see new. And we'll design how to address the logical phase at post-purchase in a little bit here, okay? Does make sense? The book Biology talked a lot about how they set up stores and literally track how people go through the store to better set up end caps. Yeah, right. I haven't read that book, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, there's a reason why milk is at the very end corner of the store. You got to walk through everything else so we can get those emotional triggers. You know what? Since I'm here, I need 16 more bottles of hot sauce, which I did on Saturday. All right. And then I left them at the cashier. I still have to go get them. All right. I was just going for hot dog buns. We were cooking brats on our grill. And I walked away with $40 of groceries, and I forgot half of them at the cashier. That's the prime example right there. I need hot sauce, because hot sauce represents me, right? Anyway, the dang donuts always get me. Is this covering the same stuff you teach with your one-page piece of paper, 6-hour training? I don't know where to find that training. It's because I don't sell it right now, but that will be a part. Came in here and he was doing sometimes I like to do a lot of little masterminds here with the local entrepreneurs. Just right here in my office. We got all these chairs on the side. And he walked in and he goes, dude, feels like I just entered the beautiful mind, man. You got so many notes all over the place. It's almost a little bit creepy. I got full whiteboards all over. Anyway, whatever. Okay. Wasn't sure. You're a little taller than me. Wasn't. You know, right? Every belief is upheld by a story. Every belief, even if it's not a true belief. think about some of the ways that each one of us are raised, right? I love how Tony Robbins says it. Most of us spend the majority of our adult life trying to get over what happened to us as a child, right? He's like, just get over it. We all had a crappy childhood. Just get over it, right? But why is it such a huge deal for some adults to really get over it? It's because there is these underlying stories that has fueled belief on how they live their life as an adult. Very true, very much true on the same exact way that they react to new products, okay? Right? New thing. Well, I don't know I don't know I can be successful with this because all banks are crooks. Like, you think all banks are crooks? Right? Like, let's say you're selling real estate. Well, I don't know. Isn't the economy bad? You know, if you look at the facts and figures, the economy actually rebounded like within a year and a half of the massive recession in 2008. But the belief that the economy was bad is what kept it freaking bad forever, okay? Does that make sense? Like, we've never had this record high in the stock market. Change and everything changes. But we need to figure out why they are saying what they're saying here. So, OS means old stories. Okay, OS means old stories. Meaning, what are the stories fueling these beliefs? Okay, these two here are very, very tied together. This worked for me. Lack of support is one reason. Building a website in WordPress. Yeah, maybe they're saying, yeah, because we're talking to ClickFunnels people who have ClickFunnels and they are not successful with it yet. And but they believe in it. They don't hate ClickFunnels. They hate that they're not being bad templates. I love it. I love it. Afraid to fail. Bad templates to compare to other people's fun. that's what made him successful. And I was like, but I don't have a coding team. I can't. Right? I guess that's more resources. And honestly, that was one that I had for a little while. I was like, but I don't have the resources. I don't have a coding team. I need this one extra little thing that ClickFunnels doesn't natively do. And everything hinges on that. And that was a huge false belief of mine for a long time. Dimitri says, so basically we reinforce their beliefs. No, we don't. But we will use we're going to use these. So follow here for just a little bit here. They want to be innovative and different. They saw conversation, don't know how to optimize, or didn't know if it was good numbers. That's certainly a key one. Yeah, actually, I need to see someone else do it over the shoulder. My record on getting a funnel off the ground was 11 minutes over there. But a lot of assets were already created. But I think a lot of people think that like sometimes it's from scratch, you know. And then they compare that, and then they're like, Steven, how did you build 500 funnels next to Russell? Okay, I had a whole team, right? I was heading the whole team, right? I was building it. I was the one actually assembling everything. But I was like, hey, there, my tenure over there was there was a team, and I'd be like, give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that. Right, for a while though, it was just me and him, and we were building tons of funnels, just he and I together, and I knew Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop, so I was the one building them and doing light design. I would not call myself a designer, but I would do that stuff, you know, and then I would take the. It's funny, guys, because I would build a funnel, and it was totally like Mr. Miyagi, which is the reason I have this thing. Right. Bloop, little Mr. Miyagi with little chopsticks. And I gave one of these to Russell. I was like, dude, you're my Mr. Miyagi. I don't want to do this stuff you tell me to sometimes, but when I do, we make cash. So wax on, wax off, baby. Tell me whatever you want. It's the only reason he got me. But but anyway, that's what he had me do, right? That's how he trained me to, because I was already building, but he didn't. He wanted me to design slightly. He liked a few of the things in his page layout style, and he didn't want people to know somebody else building it. And so actual designer. I'd be like, dude, give me an image that looks like this, kind of like that, bring in that. He's like, but that doesn't look pretty. I'm like, doesn't matter. This is what sells, right? And we go back anyway. And anyway, so it was a bunch of fun to do it that way. And we, I don't really remember why I'm telling you this at all. But anyway, so it's been fun though. None of them do. We even when I launched it with Russell, like that doesn't. None of them start that way. Um, we'd write like 10 different headlines and spend $10 on each to see which one the market liked. You know what I mean? And then small amount, small amount, small amount, small amount, and typically it was launch to list first. Right? I feel like this is actually more of a question of I don't have a list. So you got to buy the customer somehow, either with your time or money. It's great to know because the traffic thing is a sticking point. Okay, cool. So if we go, then we say spend the most to acquire customer wins. You guys ready? Can this training replace Expert Secrets? Replace it? No. I would read Expert Secrets and then watch this. Trying to figure this out where this fits in. This is like everything you're about to see. Let's go full circle with this stuff. Sound good? Yeah. All right. We're not sucking up any more of the juice. We're not. We still got 1.8 gigs of free RAM, which means we can operate. All right. Loving the Larson. I'm loving the Jason. Alrighty. Let's do this. Okay, so now that we know what the old stories are, we're going to go full circle with this, okay? I have to set that stuff up, or else it doesn't really matter. Like, anyway, let's keep going. Okay, so now we know what the old stories are, and I have no idea what I learned. This book is worth so much. It's ridiculous. It's worth the $7. There's no affiliate link. I'm not dropping anything to you, but I would read this. Anyway, so what's cool about Heroes 2 Journeys? Heroes 2 Journeys is a format for overall storytelling that is it's very effective. What ends up happening? The reason story is so powerful is because of this. Okay, check this out. I remember this one time I was at the kitchen table, or rather I walked up to the kitchen table and my wife was sitting there, and I could tell the mood in the room was just kind of low, right? The mood. Is there something that I haven't done? Is there something I should be doing? Like, what is it? What is it? And she started to tell me that she was scared. And she was nervous for our future. Not as a couple, but financially. And she started telling me, this took a long time, guys. The conversation itself was like over the course of like an hour. She started telling me how she had only been eating a meal a day. Okay. And is because she didn't feel like, although she was packing my lunches, which makes you feel like you're nothing as a man. Okay. And I went on this crusade to figure out how to make money. Let's stop there. Guys, half that story is completely made up. How many of you guys thought that was real? Dimitri, you just said I've been in the same situation. Wait a second, that was a made-up story.